technologies, especially AI, nowadays are revolutionizing education across both academia and corporate initiatives. And during this session, we will discover how nowadays universities are integrating, embedding different AI solutions and implementing in their curricula the AI elements, and also about different initiatives that are taken by different organizations helping people to learn more and get more competences, skills, and even through new media, how to overcome barriers in nowadays world. And I would like to invite to this panel discussion Anatol Poiata, Chief of Data Science Department at AC Technologies. Nana Dikhaminjia, co-founder of Clear Signal Solutions and co-founder of education nonprofit Techdro in Georgia. And Jenny Romano, co-founder and CEO of TheNewsroom. As we were talking about education and different initiatives and highlighting importance of starting it as early as it is possible, I would like to share with you experience of our association of ATIC, what we have done in the last years for growing talents, for somehow enhancing our future generation of professionals in getting skills which are required for the future jobs. And I would like to ask to help me with the presentation I prepared for you. Just a second. It should come. Here we are. So, the Techwheel Center was opened in 2017. However, association started its activity in 2006, and this year we celebrated 18 years. And during the last at least 10 years, our focus was on growing human capital, able to join IT sector, and somehow enhancing this development to bring this potential for the sector so it can boost and had a high impact on economy, which we can record nowadays. Therefore, we tried to cover all levels of education, starting with K-12. So, and developed Techwheel in Every School program, which included development of the platform, comprising 10 courses, and you can see them on the screen. It's including artificial intelligence, web design, mobile app development, graphic design, video storytelling, digital education, and entrepreneurship, emotional intelligence later on was included, and generative artificial intelligence as well. So, during 4 years of implementation of this program, besides the platform developed with these 10 courses, we have succeeded to train over 3,000 of teachers all over the country, covering around 500 schools, which is half of the total number of the schools in Moldova. And nowadays we have like almost 80,000 of children who passed at least from one of the courses developed on this platform. Sometimes they are passing already, taking 2 courses. And besides this initiatives, this platform, we also organize competitions, national competitions on regional and national level. So children can present their skills, present their competences learned during these courses, how they can apply and what can be done in partnership with the local authorities, local companies, and developing solutions which are required in the region. These are shortly. Another program we are running, it's after-school program for children in Chisinau, Belts, Cahul, Comrade, Techul Academy Kids. It's academy for children, helping them to test the most important directions in IT, and then discover different areas and potential for every child. Also, we're trying to develop the main skills required in 21st century and to transform their passions into future profession, because sometimes we can see children, playing on mobile phone, but how can we transform this addiction or hobby into interest area and furthermore, maybe future profession. Also, within this academy, we have a Robo-Rangers team of small talents getting different prizes on international competitions. Another project for vocational education is called Youth Maker Club. And on top of the professions which students acquire in vocational institutions, colleges, professional schools, they can learn and can take over the most required competences for the industry, for present industry. And the project is run nowadays in 3 locations. Very soon we will open for the 4th one, and covering the courses like electronics, 3D modeling and working on CNC machine programming, 3D modeling and laser cutting, 3D modeling and 3D printing, drones and robotics. And besides the courses, we also offer them activities like repair cafe to be more environmentally friendly, how we can repair goods instead of throwing and buying new ones, but we can repair something and take home or bring from home something defected, and then we can, with support of mentors, to fix it. Also, different hackathons competitions where children, teenagers develop projects, innovative projects on different topics, including smart agriculture, smart furniture, different kind of devices which we can use in our houses and households. The most important activity are meetups with the private sector, where teenagers can learn about the actually professions and what people do at the companies. So they are not afraid to finalize, to graduate from the school and then to join the labor market. But in this way, we succeed even to create these bridges between companies and the projects. So children, we call them children, got employed afterwards. Another area of our intervention was collaboration with universities, supporting them to grow capacity of professors, and also offering to the students possibility to take over international certification on different specializations like Java fundamentals, SQL fundamentals, or Cisco, and thus promoting them to integration into the labor market. Also, we support different initiatives launched by professors at the universities, so they can implement something very in short time, promoting ICT career, promoting different initiatives which otherwise would need, a longer path to be approved by ministry and integrated into curricula, but thus they could implement different short-term small initiatives. And also we contributed to capacity in promoting ICT professions, because this was also a huge gap at the universities. We were helping, to update curricula, to train professors, but the topic of promotion, how do we promote ICT specialties, was a huge problem. And another entity that we developed was lifelong learning department on called Techwell Academy. And actually, this was one of the first ones because in 2017, when the center was opened, there was a huge gap of labor force in the industry, and the industry required over 2,000 of professionals in short time to join the companies. However, this was not possible due to the quite restricted number of students at the universities. And nowadays we can actually say that the total number of students graduating from ICT in Moldova is around 1,500, which is already a huge step forward. There were developed different types of training courses, and the mentors of these training programs are professionals from ICT companies, which is also very important element in the whole this story, because when you receive information from the professional, so you are sure that this was already somehow tested and the person has experience, because sometimes universities are still based on the theory and less on practical exercises. Nowadays we can say that the situation is getting better and better from day to day. So also is assured the promotion like this assistance program to graduates, helping them to be employed within the IT companies who are members of our association, and not only. And another program I would like to mention, because today we will speak about this, about women empowerment and the valorification of women potential for ICT sector. As we had this a huge shortage of human capital in the sector, there was a decision to focus also on attraction of women and bringing them closer to technologies. Therefore, there were developed different programs helping them to acquire different tech skills, and together with the soft skills, being able to join labor market either as a freelancer or professionals in different companies. These are short results. Also, we would like to mention that since 2018, ARTIX supported the community of tech women professionals in ICT to create their community, and since 2021, this community was institutionalized, and already since 2019, we have early event called Tech Women Summit, and this year it will happen almost in a month, on 12th of October. So, thank you very much, and I think this is a time to continue our stories with our panelists. And I would like to ask every of you to present your organization, your main values and activities you are implementing to achieve the goals you have set. So, Anatol?
Okay, I represent a company ACTech, a part of a company group Databorn, which have offices also in Dubai, Kazakhstan, and soon we will open in Belgrade and Romania. So here in Moldova we have like a sandbox, it's a small office, but we are developing different projects, so it's small projects, special for our markets, and specialized in fintech, so the products for bank sectors and financial organizations. But also we have different projects in energetics, agriculture, and also we participate in the education process. Me and my colleague are professors at 3 universities, at the State University, Technical University, and school and Academy of Economy. Yeah. And also we start to collaborate with Techwell. I hope it will be a good collaboration. Yes, we have a lot of ideas and proposals, and we already take a part of this subcommittee of governmental concilium, economic concilium, which is working on elaborating of AI strategy for Moldova. So we are involved also in these projects, as well as our colleagues from different institutions and companies. So we have a lot of not so many time to sleep and hard to work.
Thank you. Nana, can you continue with your experience and what is your organization actually is implementing and doing and changing in Georgia?
First of all, thank you for inviting me here. Your presentation was very impressive, and we probably will need to talk about it, how to share this experience. So I have many hats, but my main job is a company which is based on Silicon Valley. It's a small research engineering company which we established with my co-founders after I left Missouri University of Science and Technology, and basically the algorithms we were working there, we commercialized it. But at the same time, when I was living in US, I was introduced to this huge opportunities of volunteer programs for school students and university students, where they were attracted to STEM throughout very interesting programs like robotics, and I've become volunteer robotics coach. And when I returned to Georgia for 4 years, from 2017 to 2021, I started actively collaborating with universities. I was teaching in several universities, and I started different programs like that. And then when I returned back to US, I couldn't just stop this program, so we established this non-profit company organization, Techdro, which in Georgian means Tech Time. And the main goal of this organization is to attract more school students to STEM, especially to tech and engineering. And our main accent is to develop programs specifically for girls. Because so now approximately 12 years I'm doing this kind of programs, and by my experience, the main benefit of these programs is when you offer girls, when they can work with robotics or with smart systems themselves. And the most successful programs we have developed were engineering school for girls, and currently we are doing 2 different programs. One is international program, which is Technovation Girls, and in Georgia we are hosting this program, where this year 750 girls participated. And just last week, we took best 85 girls to 1-week tech camp. And another one we just announced, it's medical tech for high school girls, where 100 high school girls will learn different aspects of biotech, bioengineering, and medical tech. They will have lectures from the Georgian scientists and researchers working abroad, and also they will learn prototyping of medical wearables based on Arduino, and they will work with students under student mentorships to create some kind of prototypes. Like we will have 20 different prototypes. So that's my main area. And I also collaborate with universities to develop new programs in agri-tech or AI and these areas.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask Jenny about your experience about what the newsroom is. And it's so rare we can see women actually CEO or co-founders of a startup. Therefore, I'm very glad having you here together with Nana and sharing your experience. So please tell us more about the newsroom. What it is?
So it's actually pretty easy to be a CEO. You incorporate a company and you're pretty much done. It's one step only, so I encourage everyone to try it. So what the newsroom does, so it's a 3.5 years old company that has changed shape many, many times. Always at the core, it was about applying AI to journalism and to basically help the news industry bring AI into how they analyze and digest information, and most importantly, bring transparency into the mix. And so that's exactly what we do. So we built a technology that right now is helping newsrooms around Europe, for now. First of all, identify information across various sources, be they other media companies, but also institutional sources, like government reports, official reports from companies, and so on and so forth. So gathering a lot of information to basically decide what the next story is. But then on the other hand, that same technology is able to cross-reference information. And so we help journalists validate and show very, very soon in full transparency where a piece of information is coming from. So in a nutshell, we apply AI to streamline and augment the processes in the news. I am not an educator by training, very far from it. I'm an economist. So you may be wondering why I'm working in AI, and I'm happy to tell you about that later. But I sort of stumbled upon education in the sense that the more I work with the media, the more I realize that if we actually want to get AI right and apply it correctly in the industry, there is a lot of demystification to do, a lot of education to do, and that's part now of our core. So the newsroom now is split in two, if you may. There is a product element, which is very tech-based, and an education element, which is very, okay, what is AI? Let's start from there and then bring it into the processes.
Well, we will come back to continue your story. But now I want to ask Anatol about you have a wide experience in data science, in machine learning. You even have a book on this, handbook for students, and not only. And how do you think traditional academic programs in Eurasia should evolve to prepare students for AI-driven economy? Are the university adapting sufficiently fast to the new demands of the labor market, to the industry's demands?
Well, we should speak about education in a large aspect, not only at the universities. And we have to understand that AI and machine learning is not only IT. So it's not limited. It's not a computer science. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, it's interdisciplinary. So it means it's affect all areas, from news to biochemistry to physics, astrophysics, and so on. So we have to teach students not only from IT department, from computer science, but from all institutions. Of course, people from IT are more prepared for this, and we develop AI products. But we should consider the entire community of students. That's one aspect, how we teach students and how we use AI in the process of teaching students and how we use AI. Other aspect is to train the trainers, so to prepare the professors, the teachers. So it's very important because, as you mentioned, a lot of them are very theoretical. We have no knowledge about the business, what is happening outdoors, and they're in their own world. So it's another problem. And AI is developing so fast, you can see. 3 months ago, it was one GPT, now it's another. Its paradigm is changing and everything is changing. So we have to adapt the curricula, the notes for as soon as a peer, and for old style teachers it's difficult to adapt and it's difficult to be in time. Plus, of course, the process of adoption by the ministry is not so easy. You have to prepare a paper to go and to wait at least half of a year, maybe 1 year, to change the program. So it's a waste of time, in my opinion. So in this aspect, Tech and ICT make a good job because you have extracurricular programs, you have specialized courses, and that's very nice. But we mentioned academic studies, extracurricular, and of course we need in-house teaching. So we have a lot of companies which need to adapt to new conditions. So we as a company make these courses, for example, for banks, for telecommunication companies. Of course, sometimes for them it's better to order AI product, but as I mentioned, they need to know how to use and how to approach to the sometimes, usually business cannot formulate the problem, the task. That's the main issue and the main challenge, to help business to formulate the task and to say what we need, because usually we said, okay, IT will provide all the information, usually. So, and the last but not the least, the training ourselves. So we need to teach ourselves day by day, to watch what is happening, to read the news, to follow the trends, to study new products. So this means that For teaching students, we have not so much time from one hand, but we have, and from another hand, it's a social responsibility. We need to prepare students to new job, and of course, it's a headhunter. We are looking for prospective students, and we call them, and dual education program, it's very helpful in this aspect. So we have students which are studying at the university, and they have half of time in our office they stay. So, and we start an initiative, and I think Techdro and ICT support us, as I know, they support us to create AI laboratories and AI hub together with universities. That means it will be R&D, research and development centers. So it's a point to put problems for real life from business and to solve them together with students and professors. So it's a good idea and it's a good way to make money for professors additionally, because usually we mentioned we have not so high salaries, so that's a problem, of course. And from another hand, business companies, AI, IT companies, sometimes are not ready to take small projects. So it's 10,000 euros, it's not interesting for us. But it's interesting for academy, for example, for university, for professors. And there are a lot of directions in which we can do, for example, agri-tech or AI in agriculture, which is a main issue for Moldova, for example. And we know that some wineries are interested in developing products and AI solutions. That's one example. So as a professor at the 3 universities, yes, we have a book. We already sold it. And we wrote the second one. Okay, it was for State University for generative AI. It's very trendy. But okay, we only finished 2 weeks ago, put chapters of transfusion, about transformers and diffusion models. And yesterday I read about the transfusion models. It's a mixture of transformers and diffusion. So it's changing day by day. So that's for us, it's a main issue. And we have to be in the same step with students, because sometimes we have more time to read, to watch, and specialize in different questions. And if we ask you something new, you have to react and to be ready to these things. That's what I mentioned about the self-teaching.
Well, I'm very glad to learn that you are very agile, trying to adapt to the new conditions. And also, I'd like somehow to emphasize that you mentioned that artificial intelligence skills are already entering into general digital skills. I think all of us need nowadays.
As English language is a must, it's a mandatory. It's a tool which you're using.
True. Yeah, and also importance of prompt engineering, you know, to know how correctly to introduce your request. And also that AI has a lot of premises for research and development. And this is actually, for Moldova, it's still, I think it's a weak point, and we have to push more research and development and also engage more youth in this area. Yeah, thank you. So, Nana, you've been a strong advocate for STEM education, especially for girls in Georgia. How do you think artificial intelligence can enhance diversity in STEM fields? And what strategies can be implemented, especially for girls, to pursue a career in AI-related field?
So the first question is very interesting. The first part of the question is how AI is giving us new possibilities for education, which we still don't realize, and we are not transforming like formal education according to that. And it is considered all over the world, because we have this established systems of education, and no one was ready to this fast development. But what tech and especially AI offers us, we need to switch more to self-education. We need to realize that the time of, this 4 or 6 year education is finished, and now the whole humanity should move to this lifelong learning all the time. to be in, to use, like, it's not like mandatory to compete with machines, right? But to use machines for the better, goals, we all need to self-educate ourselves. So I think the future of education using AI will be self-education platforms. And these self-education platforms should develop more and more, and professors or teachers should become more facilitators. Because teaching is also very difficult. In Georgia, we have the same problems that all the good developers or good, IT specialists, they are either moving abroad or they are, even in Georgia, they have like very high salaries working remote jobs or even local, IT jobs, and no university can compete with that. Usually in academia, we have just passionate people who get very low salary and who have side job in IT, and that's not enough time to teach properly, to prepare, to give feedback, which is like goal of the professor, right? So to give feedback to every student. So that's why we need to use platforms more, and I think every government, especially in developing countries, should invest in this. Universities should have, and also schools should have state investments for developing good platforms which can offer differentiated and personalized learning, which now different apps have, but not fully. And as regard to girls, what I have seen in the Technovation Girls offers the curriculum where they are working on tech entrepreneurship. They're searching for problems in their community, and they're learning app prototyping on MIT App Inventor or Thunkable, and they're also learning basics of AI data training. And that's how you hook them up. Like when they are thinking how they can train data around them. Like, for example, girls in Kakheti, which is wine region, they're developing robots who can, of course it's prototype and of course it's not full, but they have this experience when they try to develop app, to develop program for the robot which can identify disease of in the vineyard. So this kind of things or some girls in the cities, they try to solve, we have this huge problem with the homeless pets, homeless dogs and cats, so they try to solve this problem. So that's what we need, because motivation is one thing, but what girls lack, it's usually programs where they can try themselves and where can they safely try themselves, not to compete with boys. Because in Georgia, so I see you are doing a lot with schools, but in Georgia, only 10% of schools have formal programs in coding and engineering. So other 90%, they lack this kind of programs. So that's where we need to fit in, like all the non-profit organizations with funding, with international funding. That's what we are doing, filling these gaps.
Thank you very much. Very inspiring experience. And also I'd like to somehow stress that importance of to teach children how to learn, and this, making them responsible for acquiring new knowledge, some competences, being just facilitators, mentors, just guiding them through these materials. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the future. And we had our organization had programs for teachers also to learn this, not AI algorithms, but how to use this modern AI platforms. And it's so much easier with school students. Well, this prompt engineering is much more it's the same with, computer usage or, any office program usage, right? When I was young and when I was student and we first saw Word and Excel, we need to be taught that. But now school students, for them, it's very intuitive if you don't move up to formulas in Excel, but just using these programs on the basic level, it's very intuitive. And the same with AI platforms. Prompt engineering is so much easier for them, and we need to plan for that too, that it's the things we are learning in my age, for them it's more natural, so we need to direct them how to use it better, how to use it for their self-education.
Yeah, completely agree with you, thank you. Jenny, with AI playing a crucial role in combating misinformation, and the newsroom is somehow also working hardly on this, how is your organization, your company, using AI tools to shape media literacy education. How can these efforts can be integrated into educational curricula to ensure students and professional development in area of critical thinking and media literacy?
So we are not working directly with schools on media literacy. However, we are partnering with organizations that run media literacy programs to give our technology so that they can leverage that whole analysis and cross-referencing piece. How the two go hand in hand is, on the one hand, you need to have media literacy in curricula, which is something that is very often missing in the first place. I am 31, I was never taught media literacy in my life, and I didn't study in the 1800s, so I don't know if there were many big revolutions recently, but I just didn't have it, and I think it's a huge miss, considering that the media is getting increasingly complex, and not just the media, information is getting increasingly complex, and AI can very much accelerate the proliferation of whatever information hitting you on social, on online content, and so on and so forth. So there is an element of bringing media literacy into the mix in the first place. And second, how can AI aid that? I think it's two elements there. On the one hand, bringing very relevant, very recent data that AI can analyze and synthesize, and so that anybody who is studying media literacy can do that in something that is extremely recent. And on the other hand, that AI needs to be transparent and explainable as much as possible. Because if you do not understand the whole mechanisms behind it, it is incredibly hard to first of all, to understand it, and then to trust it, especially if you're working with children and teenagers, but honestly, with every generation, as transparent as an AI system can be, honestly, the better. The question there is always, how do I avoid overwhelming the user with information? I can't tell them how the whole system was built, but bringing transparency into the mix, I think, is absolutely fundamental. So how do we work on that? Giving our technology to media literacy organizations, and specifically the ones that I'm referring to do a lot of train-the-trainer programs, so they then inform teachers on how to best bring media literacy into the classroom. But I'll give you an example. I am from Italy, and an organization in Italy that is doing media literacy, they are basically spearheading media literacy in Italy because, as far as I know, we do not really have it in the curriculum. It's a voluntary thing that teachers do to bring media literacy to schools, which I think in this day and age is completely insane.
But may I ask you somehow to open the brackets about media literacy? What do you include in this discipline or this curricula? What topics would be, included?
You start from how you analyze a piece of content, how you look for sources behind that piece of content, how do you validate a piece of content. So the very simple act of there is something stated in a sentence or an article, just go and Google it, or go and use whatever tool you want, but go and look for other sources that back that information. And spot the trends in the sense that if you look at, for example, a piece of news, you're probably going to have very sensationalistic type of language, very biased type of language, and just teaching people how to start looking at those things, identifying what is sensationalism, what could be bias. Normally in a biased text you have much more adjectives than nouns. I'm oversimplifying, of course, but being able to analyze a text that is in front of you and thinking twice before saying, oh yeah, that is totally true. And yesterday I was speaking with another of the speakers from yesterday, and we talked about the importance of humanities. I think in media literacy, having training on humanities is absolutely crucial. A lot of the stuff we're talking about, we're not really reinventing the wheel. Media literacy is about understanding a piece of text at the end of the day, and a piece of text comes from the humanities. So going to the basics, it's okay, something is served to me. How do I ask myself the questions to understand, can I trust this, can I not? And can I just go out and validate it?
Thank you very much for your extensive answer.
Jenny, I have a question about literacy, media literacy. It's a tricky question, of course, because it's a question of trust and belief.
Yeah.
Because if two persons discuss about how the man was, how men appear, you will have two opinions, creationist and evolutionist. So it's difficult to convince each other. And if one candidate in president said that in Springfield, immigrants eat pets, I think at least 10% or 20% of people in America believe in this. Because their education or their experience says we have to trust this person, or we are trusting these persons. And media literacy, it's inutile in this case, because we don't want to change their mind. So that's the problem. And critical thinking, of course, it's one of the key factors. We have to teach them in the schools how to be critics and to analyze and to have possibility to change their opinion. That's the problem. Usual people don't want to change their opinion because we trust in something that is from the beginning, from their parents. And AI is just a mirror for the humanity. So if you don't like the reflection, that's not a problem of the mirror, so it's a problem of yourself. And of course, as I know, for the last year, 30% of the content in the internet was generated by AI. So, and it will grow, and it will be more and more fake news, more and more distortion, bias, and it's easy to say that it's media literacy and to check different opinions and different sources. It's a matter of trustness, so you're not checking 100 sources to be sure that it's true. And usually it's a problem of not science facts, it's a political facts usually, of perception. So if you want to check something, and usually people don't read 20 sources. We read only what we trust. That's the main problems, I think, the main challenge. So how you can see how artificial intelligence can influence, or how can moderate the content, and how generate the recommendation maybe for people, how...
So that's where my company started, actually. Okay. So we started with the idea of showing people different perspectives around the news in a very non-judgmental way, but showing you, okay, this is an event, there are 50 sources talking about it, this is the common ground, so what they mostly agree on, and these are the perspectives that are coming up. And the idea with that was exactly that. So, okay, you don't have time to check 100 sources. Let me give you a bit of an overview of where the debate is going. There is an element of trust and almost an element of identity, in the sense that if I believe in something, I won't really question it. If my preferred candidate says something, I will tend to trust it, and that's it. So there is an element of trust and almost laziness, if you may, but I mean, we don't have time every day to just read the news and that's all. So I can't just call it laziness, honestly. It is, however, increasingly a pain point for people. So the reason why when we started, we had that idea and then we changed 1,000 things, was that honestly, we started looking at the misinformation space at the end of 2020. And it was always a matter of, oh yeah, I know so many people who are misinformed. They should use this, but it was never I should use this. Now, it is becoming like people are becoming much more aware of what misinformation can do, and more importantly of filter bubbles, of knowing that I can't really have a conversation with my neighbor because we don't agree on one thing, and so we ignore the other 99. And so I think there is a growing, still small, but growing willingness to be exposed to that other side. What AI can do is accelerate that process. However, it is a fundamentally human characteristic. We decide what to trust, what to read, etc., etc. I don't think AI can fix anything that is fundamentally human, especially if it is emotional. But it can act as an amplifier in these cases. So I'm showing you different perspectives. I'm bringing transparency into how I deliver information to you. This being said, I don't think AI alone can do anything, like, very frankly.
I just want to add like two main points. First of all, it will be very, very important, become very important, and you know, scientists are discussing it, and people that we need to use AI to develop fact-checking platforms. There is opinion and there is fact, right? And also there is some kind of agreement between scientists, right? Also, so, and we need to teach that science changes, and there is like, what is current agreement among scientists, but also we need fact-checking platforms. And at the same time, we shouldn't forget that still generational AI, it's large language models. So they're just giving significant, you know, statistically significant answers, but not really true answers, right? So we need to realize that and not trust fully, but also control the systems also. So this is like from two-side problem.
No, and actually, I'll just add one thing. So something that was super interesting about this year, so this was the election year, like almost 4 billion people are going to vote by December. And there was a massive fear around AI-generated misinformation and the impact it would have on elections. Turns out, a lot of people end up not trusting human-generated information because they think it is AI-generated. And so that's why I'm saying, like, media literacy and AI literacy need to go hand in hand. Like, by now, very often I can tell if a text is AI generated. I don't think that is reflective of the whole population. There are patterns that you can look for. The very simple example with images is if the eyes are fixed and the face changes, it's a very elementary way of saying, okay, that's probably AI generated. But if you end up in a scenario in which people don't trust information that another human has prepared for them because they think it's AI generated, we were looking at the problem the other way around.
Yeah, it's very challenging, I would say, issue we raised here during our discussion about, whom to trust, human-created content or AI-created content, and we already need this critical thinking, another soft skill also, which should be somehow trained and included in this media literacy, I think. So let's continue our discussion, and I'd like to ask you, Anatol, about your experiences of the projects you integrate in the different curricular disciplines you are teaching at different universities, what you have succeeded to experience with your students or organize different experiments with artificial intelligence in different fields. So if you can share a few examples, it would be very interesting how we already apply this in the university.
It was an interesting experiment last year.
If you can be very brief.
Yes, sure. When I permit them to use GPT to prepare the exam, and we just send the exam question to GPT and copy-paste the answer, and all of them take mark 2 from 10. Because we cannot explain what they copy. So I think it's very important how about the ethics of usage of artificial intelligence platform, and special GPT in the educational process, how it should be used. So in this aspect, I think the universities should accept or published the ethics concept of usage of AI in the educational process, and each student have to sign that it's his responsibility how to use it. That was, for me, it was a very interesting experiment for them also, for students. And this, I think this is one of the main mainstreams which we have to discuss and to think about how ethical it's to use the artificial intelligence in the educational process, what are the limits of usage, and I think this is a mainstream now. Okay, a lot of discussions about ethics and AI and humanity centering. We are trying to trust that the artificial intelligence have the same psychology as a human. That's not true. So we have to accept that it's absolutely different from the human. And this will change the entire landscape.
Thank you. Nana, I'd like to ask you, what do you see as the most important factors in changing this educational landscape through the perspective of AI, and what should we focus on in the future? Just a few points, what you would consider the main directions we should focus on the educational side in, getting more knowledge in AI.
So with AI now we have a lot of opportunities. First of all, whatever was very difficult to do in science, it become easier because now we have new data analysis tools. But the thing is that, are we ready to use these tools or not? So I think that's how we need to look into it. Now, all the schools and universities, especially where they have like homework, not the exams where they're writing, everyone is struggling, right? How to control that something, and there are platforms that check that is AI generated, but we know for sure that in 3-4 years it will be impossible. It will mix into each other so well that it will be impossible to differentiate, because now you can give, at least in English and in the main languages, right? You can give that what kind of tone to use, or you can run through different AI systems. So you can cheat the platform which checks. So it will be difficult. So that's the thing, probably long ago, maybe like when all the gaming and IT solutions developed in education, probably that was the time when we needed to switch education not to check, but self-check. If someone wants to learn, you don't need to check them, right? So maybe we need to switch education to problem solving, and if someone can build like good smart system using AI, good for them, right? If we are able to do it 10 years ago using Google, but spending more time, if we can do it now with AI, so maybe we need to teach like big frameworks, how to use different systems to get proper answers, how to integrate them together and check them and to integrate properly. Then maybe that's, now we have, we are not teaching anyone to use horse to drive a car, right? So, and also we can drive a car without knowing how car functions inside. So that's our, and not only AI, we need to use fully the potential of VR, and hopefully VR glasses are getting cheaper and developed very fast now. We need to use potential of augmented reality, and maybe we need to put as much money into educational games and platforms as whatever we are putting into gaming industry. And then we will have very interesting solutions for self-development of students, and probably that's the way, that's what I think.
Thank you. Jenny, the question to you. What should we focus on while preparing future professionals in an AI-driven world?
Getting them to play with AI now. Because I think many industries are waiting for AI to get perfect or to figure everything out. And I think those are the industries or the people that are going to be left behind. There is a lot of demystification to be done, a lot. And I think people should start looking at AI from a curiosity perspective and not from a fear perspective. Right now, there has been a lot of fear. I doubt AI is not here to stay, quite the opposite. So I think embracing it is definitely the first step. But in order to embrace it, people need to be curious. They need to start playing with it. This is something that I see very much in the industry that I operate in. There's a lot of resistance. There was almost a little bit of, okay, let me not look at it now, focus on my core, and then one day I will look at it. And this is changing really, really fast. And I think it's for the better, because we do need to prepare for, I don't like saying an AI first world. I think it's still humanity first, but an AI augmented world. But we're not going to go anywhere if we don't have everyday people understanding how to use it and how it can augment them. And so the first step, from my perspective, is playing.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to Moldova and sharing your experience, your ideas, your visions regarding development of AI in education, how we can reshape educational programs and somehow integrate into different curriculums, our extracurricular courses and so on, and enhance a larger audience to get to know use in the right way artificial intelligence. And I assume all those who are here can actually appreciate and evaluate what was shared during this panel discussion and give to our guests a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Irina. I could not have imagined that it would be so live, the discussions, like it went back and forth. Super cool. Thank you for the moderation. We are coming to an end